Good afternoon, families and friends of Dalmeny High School. I've got a minute and a half. Welcome to this exciting celebration. For anybody who doesn't know me, I'm Mr. Dahl. I've been teaching at Dalmeny High School. This is my second year now, doing some senior science and math. You know, this is my, I think, 10th time with a speaking role at a graduation. And you know what I was thinking? It's such an important personal milestone. This is a completely new audience. They don't know me at all. And I am 100% certain that I can get away with reusing some of my old material. So I'm very excited to welcome everyone to the 2019 graduation ceremony. I guess it doesn't work that way. When I was reflecting on this year, thinking about how I wanted to introduce this special group of graduates, the first thing I thought was, I really want to take my time this year, you know, pour my heart into it and really make it special, really show all these amazing graduates how much they've meant to me. And the second thought that crossed my mind is, hurry up, man, grad's in 17 minutes. As I thought about these graduates here, I was thinking about all our shared moments over the past year, all the learning that took place and all the deep thinking and the exploration, and even all the struggle and frustration and stress that was bravely overcome to get to this point. And I thought to myself, you know what? I bet even the students felt some of that too. Jokes aside, it's been a really fun year getting to know these students better. And through the ups and downs, the pandemics and departmentals, they've persevered to make it here today. So, without further ado, it is my privilege to introduce you all to the Dalmeny High School class of 2023. So parents, please feel free. Please feel free to get up and snap some photos of your grads as they come in. Wyatt Wirtz. Easton Adrian.
Hope when the water rises, you built a wall. Hope when
Josh
the
Werner.
crowd screams out, screaming your name. Hope if everybody
Walker Skibinski.
Hope that you fall in love and it hurts so
Marcus
bad.
Peterson.
Hey, the only way you can know, you give it all you
Dalen
have.
Watson.
And I hope that you don't suffer, but take the pain.
Dylan Gerwing.
Hope when the moment comes, you'll say,
Brett Weeb.
I did it all.
Dex Bourret.
I did it all. I owned every second that this world could give.
Mateo Villafuerte.
Many places, the things that I did, yeah, with every broken bone, I swear I lived.
Maddox Waskowicz.
Hope that you spend your days, but they all add up.
Hanson Mark.
And when that sun goes down, hope you raise your cup. Oh,
Adam Termaine.
that I could witness all your joy and all your pain.
Jordy Kowalski.
Moment comes, I'll say, I did it all.
Brinley Roth.
I did it all.
Ellie Neufeld.
I owned every second that this world could give. I saw so many places, the things that I did. There was
Jade Columbus.
I swear I lived.
Emma Hildebrand. Daniela Deletch.
I swear I lived. Every broken bone.
Bailey Myers. Carol Prima. Jenna Weeb. Emily Dirksen. Madison Trevors. Morgan Taylor. Olivia Robinson. Taya Beckstead. Xander Earl.
As we roll down
Blake Beckstead.
this unfamiliar road, and although this way
Gabe Jabuff.
is stringing us along, just know you're not alone, 'cause I'm gonna make this
Aiden Jansen.
settle down.
Okay, stay standing for a moment, grads, while you have your picture taken.
The trouble it might drag you down. You get lost, you can always be found. Just know you're not alone. 'Cause I'm gonna make this place your home.
Ladies and gentlemen, your graduating class of 2023. I would now like to call upon Xander Earl to deliver the land acknowledgement.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we begin our graduation celebration, we acknowledge we are gathered on Treaty 6 territory, the traditional lands of the Cree, Saulteaux, Dakota, Nakota, Lakota, and the homeland of the Métis Nation. We commit to the process of truth and reconciliation, working towards understanding, respect, and support for Indigenous communities. Let us build a future that honors the truth and upholds justice, equality, and partnership. May this acknowledgement serve as a reminder of our collective responsibility to honor the past, celebrate Indigenous cultures, and forge a path of healing and unity together. We can create a more inclusive and equitable Saskatchewan for all. Thank you.
I'd now like to call upon our joint dual guest speakers, I guess. Teacher, longtime teacher of DHS, known affectionately as Chuck, Mr. Kowalchuk.
Hello, everybody. So allow me to set the scene. It was a typical day at Dalmeny High School, the prestigious place of learning, which many here tonight would argue is one of the greatest schools in the province, country, world, dare I say the Milky Way galaxy. Students settled into their classes to open their minds in the wonders of quadratic equations, periodic table, the French Revolution, the plot of this dark endeavor. It was a day where students concocted pots of taco soup and secured CO2 cartridges to wooden cars. It was a day of fine-tuning jump serves and brushstrokes on a canvas worthy of a spot next to the Mona Lisa. It was a day where the jovial sound of children filled the classrooms and hallways of our square-shaped brick-and-mortar home, but that would all soon be changed forever. For anyone who has spent time in a high school, there isn't a lot of things that shock any of the five senses. While walking through the hallway, one would completely expect to see a bat soar majestically through the air, hear animated Shakespearean screaming from Mr. Lewis's classroom, have the combination of cinnamon buns, Axe body spray, and BO hit your nose, while enjoying the intricate flavors of the greatest breakfast burrito within a 200-kilometer radius of Saskatoon, while also performing a carefully timed handshake routine creatively crafted by the master himself, Gabe Jabuff. Any of this, my friends, is a walk in the park. But while all seems status quo on this typical day, it would soon change. For me personally, I will never forget that day. Without warning, the most pungent smell I have ever come across hit my olfactory system like a freight train carrying thousands of wild hogs, which, if you ask Wyatt Wirtz, he would tell you is an invasive species absolutely ravaging the Canadian prairies. Time seemed to stop in that moment, as the only smell I've ever been able to also see, taste, and feel cascaded through the halls, bringing hands up to noses like dominoes. Were we under attack? Did someone finally find their Tupperware from 1993? I didn't have the answer to these questions, but Mr. Jansen and I were on the case. No rock was left unturned in a quest to identify the source of this foul odor. Every mechanical room was checked meticulously, each pipe and drain examined thoroughly. It was a team effort, but eventually Mrs. Sutherland had to call in the maintenance team from the division office to come to our aid. An entire day was spent on a search mission, but alas, the smell seemed to dissipate as mysteriously as it had first arrived. A sense of relief and cautious optimism followed, hoping that maybe the winds were blowing at just the right angle to mix the smell of chicken barns with the football shed to create a concoction never experienced before. All hope, however, was soon shattered when the next day, the bell signaling the end of the first period brought with it another nasal onslaught, reminding us that the case was far from closed. While the search continued blindly, a spark of hope miraculously arrived. Hey, Mr. Kowalczyk, I got some intel for you. Word on the street is that you might want to check with Josh. We finally had a lead, and the adrenaline rushed through my blood, giving me the feeling of a modern-day Sherlock Holmes on the brink of solving the greatest case in history. I spotted him by the water fountain, near the gym, standing by Dalen Watson, shooting the breeze. Josh, hand it over. I know that smell's coming from you. Panic instantly transformed his face, and in my peripherals, I saw Dylan Gerwing scurrying away like a scared mouse. Josh handed over the bottle of fart spray. I might be imagining this, but I swear, at that moment, Mrs. Pauls sensed victory and began to play the Law and Order theme song over the intercom. As Josh, Dalen, and I walked down to the office, I had no idea Dalen was involved in this, but I figured he was either an accomplice or was potentially working for the Clark's Crossing Gazette and wanted to be the first one in on the big scoop. The boys handled the situation with grace and humility, not once making an excuse or trying to cast the blame on anyone else, despite wreaking havoc on the school with dollar store biological weaponry. I was proud of them for how they handled everything. Jansen and I never asked Josh and Dalen if there was anyone else involved. We knew that they would never deflect the heat onto anyone else, but we wanted to check in with the boys to give anyone else a chance to own up to the fart spray debacle of 2018. We got everyone together in the theater and filled them in about our knowledge of what happened, how Josh and Dalen took ownership, and that we would be around if anybody else felt like talking to us about the part they played in it. I don't think I've ever heard silence in a room of grade 8 boys like we did on that day. An hour or so later, I saw Brett Weeb moving awkwardly towards me. Eyes down, kind of fiddling around with his hands a little bit. When he eventually approached me, he uttered the words that to this day have me fighting back laughter. Mr. K, I 2 pumps in the boot room. What? I asked him. 2 pumps in the boot room, Brett mumbled, indicating that he, Brett Weeb, had pressed down on the fart spray can bottle 2 times in the boot room by the gym. Like the final answer to a game of Clue, in the boot room by Mr. Weeb with the fart spray. Poor Nicole got her second phone call of the day, but once again, we were more proud than upset. So I've held on to this can for 5 years. This is not a replica. This is the exact one. The last time it has been pressed was the time that Brett Weeb. And so every time I open my drawer at home to go grab something, I see this thing and I smile and I think about all the valuable lessons that are packed into a $5 potent bottle. So, Mr. Weeb, if you're okay with it, because I'm afraid to give this back to Josh and Brett, I would like you as the father to come and accept this bottle. Initially, I was going to give it back to them, but I figured that was a bad idea. So I put a lot of time into thinking about what to talk about this evening, and it's so difficult to craft the perfect speech aimed at honoring a group of people that you've spent so much time with and that you're so incredibly proud of. But you might be thinking, he clearly didn't think about it long enough based on what we just listened to for the last 5 minutes. But this is where I've landed. These students here, they don't want to listen to me and my perceived wisdom or knowledge or sage advice. Wisdom, it seems, is rarely absorbed from the proclamations of adults. Instead, it's conjured through life experiences, and those then are shared through storytelling. So tonight, I'm not here as the dispenser of knowledge, but rather as a storyteller. And for me, while on a journey to learn more about Indigenous culture and pedagogy, I've come to know that stories bring people together. And that through the stories that connect us, relationships are built, and then learning authentically happens. The stories connected to the graduating class of 2023 are countless strings interwoven into a fabric that tie all of us together. And in each one, the laughter, smiles, tears, and sighs that carry lessons that help us move forward while also anchoring us to a community. Like the time that Dex accidentally tripped, knocked the phone off the hook, and by sheer chance, his fingers landed on 9, 1, and 1. Perfectly in that order. Amazing. Or the time when we found out that Maddox was leaving for another school and the boys carried him out like a Roman emperor. Or the time that the girls, when we in grade 9 had boys phys ed during girls science and vice versa. So when the girls asked me repeatedly if we could do Just Dance in science class, but for me, the inability to be in the same room while that was happening just made me continuously make up excuses to kick that can down the road, and then COVID eventually bailed me out. Or the biggest failed event since Firefest, for those of you that know what that is, the Cheese and Tanks Home Run Derby, where we all waited so very patiently to find out if Josh could hit just one dinger off of 10 Hanson Mark fastballs. Maybe that's happening today after grad, we'll see. All of that is us, and in each of those moments is a piece of something meaningful for each person. This is a group of outstanding and unique individuals, and their stories pay homage to that. Like the arrival of Blake Beckstead as an incredibly talented rapper, or Gabe Jabuff as an inspiring singer. One day, nobody had any idea, and then the next, they're on a stage performing for the whole school, and including the director, who's here tonight, Mr. Daryl Bazelak. Or the emergence of Danielle, the rock and roll queen, whose incredible artistic skills brought forth jewelry creations that would fly off the shelves in a shop in downtown Los Angeles. Mateo's commitment to fitness and nutrition. Aiden's terrible luck with injuries, but miraculous recoveries nonetheless, like a real-life version of Marvel's Wolverine. Taya's work as the guardian of the library. Easton and Wyatt balancing the demands of high-level hockey while achieving outstanding academic success, and then a number of other students balancing their own learning while working close to full-time hours, either during the week or on the weekends. Navigating through the challenge and mastery level swamps that you were subjected to during senior science classes with me, and then specifically the work of Olivia, Maddie, Emma, Jenna, and Bailey. Submitted with a smile despite how much they despised me in those moments. The senior girls volleyball team coming together to go to provincials despite not knowing if it was in the cards for that year. Dylan and Adam patiently trying to teach me how to do a kickflip on a skateboard, even though I was terrible, exposing myself to incredibly high levels of risk and looking super lame while doing so. Walker Skabinski becoming a leader of the people, representing our school at the division level to speak openly and honestly about what life is like for kids in high school, while also apparently living a double life as Lil Scratchy. Morgan rocking the coolest hairstyles and never being afraid to show her true self. Jade always finding a way to get things done in an overly modest way as she absolutely masters something. But it's like totally not a big deal, so don't worry about it, Mr. K. Xander just pretending, Xander just wandering, which is a new adjective to describe joyful movement. It's called Xandering. Like if you see a happy person looking like they're walking on air, making everybody else feel happy, you might say, whoa, look at that dude, he's totally Xandering. Brinley and Jordy running the show with a bunch of boys in phys ed class. Carol bringing the wall to life with her art. Ellie just consistently calm, cool, and collected, like not even a tornado would make her flinch. And each of you in so many unique ways, finding yourself, climbing mountains, leaving and coming back, and stepping out of the grasps of things that were holding you back. None of that was easy, but it happened because of your will and determination. Now, stories unfortunately aren't always funny or awesome. My 6-year-old son is obsessed with the Lego Movie 2, to the point that he spent his entire life savings, all 6 years of piggy bank, buying a highly overpriced General Mayhem Lego spaceship off of Amazon. Now, while I sigh every time he chooses that movie, when it's his turn, there is this really cool lesson from it. And if you're familiar with the series, the soundtrack of the first song talks about how everything is awesome all the time. And kind of by the end, they realize it's not true. And then in the remake, the second movie, there's an important lyric. It says, everything's not awesome. Things can't be awesome all of the time. It's not a realistic expectation. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't try. Everything is better when we stick together. Side by side, you and I will sing it together. And for me, this rings so true. There's a lot of really unfair, awful things that happen, and awesomeness sometimes goes away for a very long time. And humans, we're not designed to go at it alone. We're wired for connection. And when the lights are the dimmest, this is when we need each other the most. So now my last story, this is a connection between dissections and football. Every year, either during Health Science or Biology 30, students have the opportunity to dissect a fetal pig. There's mixed enthusiasm and participation, but mostly tentative excitement. But for me, and I've never really talked about this, but it's always a close look at something that truly fascinates me and brings me pretty close to tears. Fetal pigs are often dissected in school due to the similarities that they have in their internal anatomy between them and a human being. And although small, we get to investigate the heart and its 4 chambers, which resemble that of a human heart. And within that heart are valves, which magically, through the miracle of modern science and medicine, can be used as replacement parts for people that need them. Now, I always wondered how well that would work, but I found my answer when watching Harkus Peterson play football during his last season for the Dalmeny Cougars. With a minimal roster, at one point only 6 or 7 players, Harkus rarely left the field, boldly agreeing to take on the role of quarterback when our starter went down. He carried that team on his back, never complaining, never yelling, never blaming anybody, and never abandoning his team. Not once did he even consider it, and continuously went back into the play, willing to do whatever he could to give us a chance. And what I witnessed from that kid taught me that when you have a heart as big and as strong as his, a pig valve can handle the small task that it's meant to do. So it is through these stories that we build a connection. And it's through these stories that we wove a strong fabric that holds all of us together. And it's through these stories that we step outside, as Gabe Jabuff would tell you, into the unknown. So hold on to these, everyone, and rely on the pieces that you need and the people that are part of them in the moments when you need them the most. So I guess I lied. There's one more story. Music. It might be my favorite form of storytelling. And I love how songs can bring us back to specific moments in time. There's this band, it's called the Chuck Jansen Band, and it surfaces from time to time, filling a small, highly unmarketable niche, performing specifically at DHS graduation ceremonies. And tonight is no different. Mr. Jansen, will you please come up and join me? So for those of you that have never heard us before, in preparation, I'd like you to imagine Weird Al, but if he had a much taller twin. And that pretty much is the essence of our band. What we are about to perform has been practiced over 2 times. And it may very likely be biting off way more than we can chew, but attempts to capture our time getting to know these students. So the song it's going to be a medley, including one of the top Billboard hits from each year that these people were in high school. And then one surprise for Gabe at the end. So see if you can guess which song it is as we go. All right, give me a sec. I got to drink a whole bunch of water.
I was told it'd be way darker in here. This is too bright.
When I described this song to Mr. Jansen, I said, it's kind of like a Meatloaf song. It's pretty long.
And it smells like meatloaf.
Okay, Dennis, can I plug it in? All right. So one other little pretense here. I capoed it up recently because it makes the rest of the song sound better, but the first 3 lines, for me personally, it's way too high. So I'm just preparing you. It'll likely go with a few flaws. Okay, you ready? Yeah. All right. 6 years of musical reflection from when we met back in grade 7, yeah. We built a pretty strong connection, yeah. At Dalmeny High School. Back it up to day one at Dalmeny High School. Back when wearing Crocs wasn't the thing to do. Easton won the Hunger Games, yeah, that was so cool. Dalmeny High School. Back in your first year at Dalmeny High School. So different from your time spent at Prairie View. Back when Dex's voice was a lot higher too. Teo, is it true about the shredded cheese? Did he really just dive right in back in 2018? And how about that girl that always seemed so sweet? Until we saw you trying to trip people, Genevieve. Back in the Z having so much fun. No change of clothes when you're done. Deodorant, no thanks, there's no time. Then back in the gym at lunch, floor hockey was number one. Quick spray of Axe and you'll be fine. Remember the time you jumped aboard boats made of cardboard and set sail in the pool. Most of them sunk 2 meters in. His design plans are a mess. I whispered underneath my breath, but you figured with lots of duct tape, it's perfect. 2019 on a roll. Just got back from February break. Did you see the news? It must be a mistake. Maybe the school is shutting down. What is COVID? Is it really on its way? Or did Josh just buy some more fart spray? Crazy. Oh, the school is cold and empty. Sleeping in past 12:30. I guess this year is really gone. Oh, I'm swabbing every night and sanitizing everything I touch. Oh, guess that's it for grade 9. I wonder if Harkus shaved his mullet. Put my mask on, sanitize, test before I leave, still negative. Walk in separate doors, reaching out our hands to sanitize. Oh yeah, the days are feeling so long, chilling in the library, crazy frog and ping pong. Whoopsie! Drawing skills are so strong, raising some awareness, invasive breeds of wild hogs. Go into the theater, turn off the lights. Hear Gabe singing, such a highlight. Everybody on their feet when he's on the mic. When the days felt so dim, he would make them bright. Plungers from the drugstore is what we save our money for. Physics put me in a mood every time we learn something new. Feels like I don't have a single clue. Grade 11 feels cruel. 30 level crosses with the crew. Spending every night doing review. And what did Dylan do? Shaking beakers filled with agar goo. Take a bite, treat it like food. Was it for the Insta views? Or maybe Josh is a really hungry dude and didn't have a lunch with him at school. Took financial lit just for an easy credit. We walked to the co-op for Slurpees with Jensen. Taking phys ed with hardly anyone. Chuck and Uzdebski. We went to spin class, it was cool. Went to the rink, borrowed a helmet from Walker Skabinski. Got jacked inside the fitness room. Most of you took all of your credits last year in grade 11, except for math with Dahl and Lewis. The school feels empty now without you here. What will we do come next year without Beyonce Bailey? But it's grad time. It's time for you to be free. Time for Brett Weeb to make way more money than me. You're sitting on this stage with people that you've known forever. Hold on to these stories. They're the ties that keep you all together. Into the unknown. Into the unknown. Into the unknown.
Gentlemen, you know, they say don't quit your day job, but there might be a future in this for you boys. Okay, I would now like to call upon Jenna Weeb and Easton Adrian.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and graduates. I'm Jenna.
And I'm Easton, and we're honored to give this speech to the staff on behalf of the graduating class.
So we're gonna give you a little tour of Dalmeny High School. So when you first walk in through the front doors, you'll see Mrs. Pauls welcoming you in. Thank you, Mrs. Pauls, for always having a smile when you run to the printer a million times a day for us, and for buttering our toasts in the mornings. For keeping the angry mobs calm when there were sticky buns. Thank you for keeping us organized.
Then you hear a ruckus behind you, and you turn around and see Mr. Verreau burst through the IA doors. Mr. Verreau can be one to thank for all the handy people that were cropped out of DHS. We all appreciate the support and stories about the world and where to visit.
We start to walk down the hall and run into Mr. Lewis. If you have never met Mr. Lewis, well, let me just say you are missing out. It could be that you never know if he's joking or being serious, or his constant proclamations that Gandalf is not a wizard. But watch your back, because he could be chasing you with a booger at any time. Thank you, Mr. Lewis, for always keeping us on our toes. Continuing on our journey, you go into a classroom with paintings covering the walls and ceilings and find Mibs. Mibs leads us to victory in a lot of things. She'll work side by side with you until you accomplish your goal. Mibs has planned some of the most fun activities for us, like recreating the Hunger Games and creating our own video games. Mibs is our biggest cheerleader, and she will continue to be so even after we leave high school. Thank you, Mibs, for always making the classroom a fun and encouraging place to learn.
All of a sudden you hear Blink 182 music coming from across the hall. You open the classroom door and see Mr. Dahl jamming out and eating Cool Ranch chips. Beside him, his backpack with literally everything but what he seems to need. Thank you, Mr. Dahl, for all the memories and laughs and your Kesha's little dinosaur t-shirt. Then you smell some delicious food coming from the home ec lab. Here you find Mrs. Koski making something fantastic. Mrs. Koski, thank you for collaborating all of our track years, teaching us how to cook, and maybe not whip each other with towels. We thank you for all you do and having a great attitude.
You go into the library and find Mrs. Peters, Mrs. Boyles, and Mrs. Perkins. They have been in and out of our classroom since grade 7. They have seen each other and every one of us grow up to be the person we are today. Thank you for being patient with us and cheering for us on the sidelines. Back in the hallway, we run into Mrs. Norberg, and all you can think of is TLC. Mrs. Norberg is what you can call the watch guard of the school. She's always circling the halls and greeting everyone she meets. She's always concerned about our well-being, checking in on students, but she can be that fun person you can dream about going to Greece. Thank you, Mrs. Norberg, for always looking out for us. Further down the hallway, you see some art, and Mrs. Osika comes to talk to you. Osika will get you thinking creatively, even if you're not a creative thinker. In grade 9, she made us make a really cheesy and corny music video to the song Grade 9 by Bare Naked Ladies. People really had to challenge their inner cheerleader and nerd for that video. Thank you, Osika, for getting our brains to work in different ways.
Then you see CPM. CPM is a light. She basically helped raise us and form our class and the rest of the other graduating prior into what you see today. From all of us, thank you for your shining smile and wonderful laugh, as well as stories about singing in cars and not caring about what others think. A lot of lessons come back to us from the beginning of our journey. Then you hear some math happening from across the hall and find Mrs. Dick. Mrs. Dick obviously has a great mind for math and taught us all the foundations of math. She also seemed to teach us all kinds of fun games, whether that's cards or board games. Mrs. Dick always greets you in the hallway and asks how you're doing. We all thank you for teaching not only school things, but other activities as well. Then you find the custodian's room. We all thank you for dealing with us and keeping our great school clean. We thank you for working out the fart spray situation and making sure our school always smells clean.
You run into Carmel in the hallway. She always has a bright, smiling face. Thank you for always being concerned and listening to our problems, no matter how silly they are. You smell some yummy muffins at the Cougar Cave and see Mrs. Friesen. Mrs. Friesen feeds our school. She is the genius mastermind behind all the Cougar Cave food. She doesn't do it all alone. You will see her working kindly and patiently alongside students, helping her make the food. Thank you, Mrs. Friesen, for helping us in organizing the Cougar Cave.
You make your way to the gym and see Chuck dunking on some grade 7er. Chuck feeds off of people, always interacting and checking in on everyone. Keeping it light and dialed should be his motto. He is able to make all kinds of challenging things seem easy, which is nice when you're taking a lot of difficult classes with him. A memory that comes to mind with Mr. K is he came in with a fresh haircut, saw Harkus chilling with a phone, trying to take a picture, and he decided to show the whole class about his brutal haircut and showed us a bald spot in the back of his head. Thanks for everything you've done. We all appreciate it, and go Leafs go. Finally, you see Mrs. Sutherland's bright smile coming towards you. Mrs. Sutherland, as we know, is the sweetest person. Her good morning and greetings are always a blessing, Thank you for navigating us through some tough school years. Leading a school through a pandemic was no easy task, and you made it the best possible. I personally appreciate the help and guidance on behalf of our class. There's no way to show our gratitude for all your work. Thank you.
And that brings our tour to an end. All of you teachers do so much for us behind the scenes that we don't know about. You have helped us become the people we are today, and we are beyond grateful for everything, even if we don't show it. Thank you all.
Okay, great job, you two. I would now like to call on Mrs. Irwin Brandt to give a response.
Oh, I need a stool. Yeah, I think so. All right. Good afternoon, guests, parents, and graduates. Congratulations, you did it. After an entire year of talking and planning and more talking and hoping that this day would finally come, you're here. Does it feel real yet? I feel honored to speak on behalf of my colleagues about this unique class. I say unique because this class was already a legend before they stepped a foot into Dalmeny High School. I nicknamed the Just You Wait class. I can see some of you are asking me why. And you know, I can't resist the story, so here we go. It started off with older siblings of the graduates. Hey, Mibs, you think we're trouble? Just you wait until you teach my brother's class. Drama, you think we have drama in our class? Just you wait until you have my sister's class. Then fellow colleagues, around this particular time of year, a few years ago, you think you're tired? Just wait until you teach my class. They have energy and then some. Now, I've been a teacher for a while, and you hear a lot of stories, so at first I was very doubtful. But as the years continued to go by, I'm not gonna lie, I started to get curious. Then finally, a bit nervous. And then 4 years ago, walking into the library for the first time to teach this class when they were in grade 9, do you know what I learned? The rumors are true. All of them. They were, depending on the day, they're still true today. They have unbounded energy with drama time to spare. And sometimes I have no idea what they are and were thinking when they pull some of the stunts that they pull. Attitude and opinions on everything. Sarcasm that even matches my own. And tempers that can rise and simmer in seconds. There has never been a dull moment with this class. They have kept me on my toes and entertained. Whether that was through listening to their plans to take over the school, their epic ping pong matches, their creative ideas of how to make the library entertaining after being stuck in it for 2 years. I hope we finally have found the food out of all the books. Their obsession with a stuffed green frog named Crazy Frog. And I'm gonna be completely honest. You remember when you asked me where Crazy Frog went? I might have thrown him out. After a day of really successful torture from him hanging off the ceiling, and he just disappeared. I learned about the fart spray fiasco, and then really special things about them, like their secret love for carrots, and Hamilton, and cats, and beatboxing, and a particular student named Cohen, and horses, and what Be Real was, because they would say, hey, Mibs, let's be real. And I'm like, okay, and I couldn't understand why they were all taking out their phones, because they were taking pictures of themselves. And finally, with Gone with the Wind. And most importantly, they taught me not to judge a book or a class by its cover. They will never admit to this, but under their facade of being a tough class, They are truly stellar human beings. They are some of the most intelligent people I have met. Their empathy for others is unmeasurable. They are so creative and artistic. They start their day always with kindness and end with something positive. Their energy is endless because they don't want to sit, they want to do. And just you wait, because in a couple of years, this class will be our future leaders, making a change for the better in our world. Graduating class of 2023, you know you made the staff of Dalmeny High so proud. This is your time, your opportunity to make your dreams come true. Go make the most of this opportunity, and we all know if the opportunity doesn't knock right away, you're the people who will build the door. Congratulations, we will miss you.
Okay, we'd now like to call upon Harkus Peterson for a special presentation. Did Bailey say, oh no?
I don't know who said oh no. Good afternoon, everyone. In case you didn't know, Mr. Lewis is leaving Dalmeny High School next year. We would like to thank Mr. Lewis for his time here at DHS. He's a great teacher and football coach. Mr. Lewis always kept our attention in class because if we weren't paying attention, he would start throwing things at us. He also led a rebellion against the SRC after they didn't count his Hawaiian shirt after his Hawaiian shirt didn't count as camo for a dress-up day. The most important thing, though, is him coaching football. He cared so much for us having a team that did whatever he could to keep us playing. He did everything from filling gopher holes on the field before games to running practices in the freezing cold at 7 a.m. He'll be missed around the halls and on the field, but we wish him luck in Warman next year.
Thanks, Harkus. We now have a presentation of a special slideshow that's been prepared.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. So take the photographs and still frames in your mind, hanging on a shelf in good health and good time. Tattoos of memories and dead skin on trial. For what it's worth, it was worth all the while. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. Something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life.
Hey, Josh, we noticed. I'd now like to call upon Bailey Myers and Jordy Kowalski to deliver a message to the families. It says Kowalchuk on my thing.
Oh God, this is very tall. How do I adjust this? You're good, you're good. Good afternoon, I'm Jordy Kowalski.
And I'm Bailey Myers.
Sorry. I have immense pride speaking before you today, and I am honored to be giving a speech to our dear parents who have been here to guide us through all the years. I'm sure most of us remember our first day of kindergarten and the fear that came with it. We also remember encouragement and love. You took care of us in our every aspect. You got us out of bed and ready in the morning. You cooked for us, you cleaned up behind us, you took care of us when we were hurt, and you raised us to be who we are.
You were a warm shoulder for us to cry on through the hard times in our lives. You're there for our first steps, our first words, and first scars. You've shown us pride in our simplest accomplishments, such as a scribble drawing that took 30 seconds to make. Making you proud was the best feeling. It filled us with the confidence to keep practicing the things we loved. These small acts of encouragement are what gave us the hobbies and talents that we now have.
We must now decide where we go from here and the type of person we would like to be. We are always dependent on you and wanted to be by your sides as much as possible. This has slowly changed us and taught us how to live without you and be independent. You are our strongest warriors, protecting us from everything. As we got older, your defense was limited, preparing us for the hardships of life.
Without you, we would be lost. All these things you've done for us have made us better and more secure people. You taught us everything we needed to get here in this moment, making us all the more grateful. The success celebrated here today is also dedicated to you. Without your support, we would not be here today. Thank you.
Thank you, girls. I would now like to call to the stage Mrs. Myers to give her response.
Dear graduates, the day is finally here, graduation day. It's like it's a full circle moment for many of you because the first graduation happened in this very building. As parents, we have watched you grow and learn. We have watched you stumble and fall, and we have watched you realize your full potential. There are many more firsts left for you to experience as you move on to your own paths. As parents, we want you to know that there are times you will fail, but as long as you learn something, it's never truly a failure. We hope that you make good decisions and that your mistakes are small. We hope that you have the courage to stand up for yourself and the confidence to choose your own path. We want you to remember that life consists of many journeys and to take the time to enjoy each and every one of them, to try new things and to find your passion. That success is not measured by money, but by happiness. Remember that no matter how old you are or how far away you are, we are just a call away. We want to thank you because it has been truly a privilege to watch you guys grow from the cute little kids in kindergarten to the beautiful adults you have become. And before you go off on your new adventures, a few tips. You have a voice, use it. Ask for help when needed. Be kind, be kind, be kind. Life doesn't always go as you plan. Learn to adapt. Find your team. Say you are sorry when you are wrong, and I forgive you when you are right. And make sure the gas tank never goes below half. Congratulations.
So our next speaker is a student who has exemplified all the qualities we attempt to inspire in students since day one at DHS. She is hardworking and incredibly ambitious. She has taken on leadership roles in sports and academics. She has been an absolutely unwavering academic success since the moment she set foot in Dalmeny High School. It's my pleasure to bring up this year's valedictorian, Olivia Robinson.
Good afternoon, teachers, parents, graduates, and guests. My name is Olivia Robinson, and I'm honored to give the valedictory speech on behalf of the class of 2023. Congratulations to all the graduates here today. We never thought this day would come, but here we are crossing the finish line. We made it through days we thought would never end, departmentals we were sure would be the end of us, late nights cramming for either MIBS's final exams or perfecting challenges for Chuck. We made it through the 3-hour morning classes with Mr. Lewis or shots. We overcame MIBS's huge projects and the long hours wearing masks. And we didn't only make it through to the other side, but we succeeded. We have all worked very hard to be here today, but we did not do it alone. Thank you to all the teachers who took the time to put up with us throughout the years. We were incredibly lucky to get the teachers that we did. Our teachers made long 2 to 3 hour block classes fun and very entertaining with their great personalities. And in Chuck's case, allowing the class to take well-needed breaks to watch Blake's freestyle breakdancing. They gave us a very accepting place to be ourselves. They gave us their time through field trips, late nights dedicated to planning and marking, and helping us whenever we needed it after school. Thank you to the parents for the late nights filled with projects, due the next day, for coming on our class field trips to help our poor teachers try and keep track of us, and for supporting us through our many years of school, always coming to cheer us on at our assemblies and extracurricular activities. You've led us through challenges and were always there for us whenever we needed you. You are and always will be our emotional support through tough times. Graduates, it's crazy to think we all came together as strangers whenever we were only 4 to 5 years old, knowing nothing about each other. Now, I think we all know each other better than we want to. With only a third of us, word travels fast, so we all know a lot about each other. We also know a lot of the same people. No matter how annoying some people could be, me included, we were stuck together. Our class all grew up in the same assemblies, attending each other's birthday parties, and going to the same school dances. Well, standing awkwardly at the same school dances. We spent hours a day working on Genius Hour or our boats for the cardboard boat races. The year we came back after COVID was unique, and to pass the time, desperate times called for desperate measures. We were trapped in the library, where the crazy frog stuffed animal was once crucified. I don't know why, I was way too scared to ask questions. The library was transformed into an intense arena filled with ping pong matches to help pass the time. Another strategy we had to keep the day entertaining, since we couldn't fraternize with the other grades, was playing Among Us as a class. What I learned from that game is that some of us are a lot better at lying than others. We went on countless walks to the co-op to get slushies, and to the pond where we went leech hunting and brought back little critters for MIBS. We used to play on playgrounds together, where our biggest problems were racing to the equipment so you weren't it for grounders. Now we have finals, essays, jobs, and so many other big responsibility that comes with being an adult. We grew together from young innocent kindergartners into the adults that we all are today. Now that our years as a class are over, it's time that we go our separate ways. Stephen Chbosky said, even if we don't have the power to choose where we come from, we can still choose where we go from there. We didn't choose where we came from or who would be in our class. We all just showed up 12 years ago and look forward for the great years to come. Now, we've had each other for the majority of our lives. Here we are facing the uncertainty of moving forward. These 30 people have played a huge role in what path each of us have chosen. Some of us will move out and start our own families. Others will go on to post-secondary education or right into the workforce. Some of us will travel or take a gap year. These are just a few of the options we get to choose from. Our lives are just beginning. We have 1,000 adventures, new achievements, friends, and memories waiting for us. In the words of T.S. Eliot, for last year's words belong to last year's language, and next year's words await another voice. And to make an end is to make a beginning. Congratulations, class of 2023.
Thank you, Olivia. I would now like to call upon Madison Trevors for a special presentation.
Good evening, honored guests and fellow graduates. We would like to bid goodbye to our wonderful high school principal, Mrs. Sutherland. Mrs. Sutherland came to our school in 2019 and has had a huge impact on our lives. From the moment we first met her, she has taken it upon herself to really get to know all the students in Dalmeny High School. She's there to greet us every morning as we walk through the front doors. She teaches and spends a great deal of her time providing career counseling. Through her leadership and guidance, she has helped steer many of us on a road to success after high school. One thing that stands out for me is her ability to get involved. She never backs away from a challenge, and she's there to put her heart and soul into everything she does. When we were short for our bottle drive, Mrs. Sutherland was there locating garbage bins and slapping on a pair of gloves. When we were busy running the booth for Dalmeny Days, Mrs. Sutherland was there again to flip burgers. You could even find her choreographing dance numbers for our school musical Grease. You were sure that she'd be present in the hallways whenever you needed her. We will always remember her passing out stickers in the hallways and her obsession of Yoda. Mrs. Sutherland always reminded us to be good humans. What does it mean to be a good human? A good human is a person who knows themselves, her or his strengths, talents, and personal challenges, who lives up to personal potential, and who connects and lives positively within the world. This is something we will take with us for the rest of our lives. Mrs. Sutherland, you have done more for the school than anyone will ever realize. Dalmeny High School will miss you and your kindness and sincerity. Mrs. Sutherland, I speak for everyone when I tell you thanks for everything, and we wish you all the best in your new position as coordinator for Prairie Spirit School Division. May the force be with you. And now can I call up Mrs. Sutherland to give the principal's message?
Well, the first thing in my speech is I'm not going to cry, but thank you, Madison. That was more than I can say, so thank you. All of you look fantastic. It is wonderful to see you all, and your speeches have been brilliant. So good evening, graduates, family, and friends. Tonight is about acknowledging the awesome humans that you are, the stories and the memories that you've created together, and the growth we have witnessed in each of you along the way. As we celebrate you, I would like to share gratitude to your families for their support, cheerleading, and partnership. It has been an honor to be on this journey with you, and thank you for trusting us with your babies. I have this mental slideshow of memories from our time together. Many of them were sung to us tonight, so I don't have to repeat a lot of them. But many of these memories warm my heart and capture your inspiring growth, diverse talents, and good human contributions. Other memories capture the more unique and patience-requiring moments that are equally important to your journey. I'd like to share a brief snapshot of these gifts and memories that you have given DHS. And I'm going to start with Walker. At the end of every class, no matter what class, no matter if it was a good class, Walker thanks every teacher. He says, "Thanks for class." And I'll just picture it. It's like a game changer for teachers. It can be the craziest hour, it can be the hardest lesson, and that gratitude just shifts your perspective. It's awesome. Walker, thank you for being an inclusive leader, always ready to try new things, and being a genuine good human. Sweet Carol, you have more talent than I can possibly begin to describe, and we are grateful for all you have given and all you have shared with our school. I mostly actually want to thank you too for laughing at Mrs. Norberg's jokes. Someone had to do it, Carol, and we appreciate that you did. Dex, we are so happy and have been so excited to have you back at DHS. Watching you interact with your peers has highlighted your strength as a kind, caring, and supportive friend. Thank you, Dex, for making our school a better place. Daniela, DHS has a record number of exceptionally talented artists. Mrs. Osika, thank you for that. Daniela is one of them, and I am in awe of your talent and the way that your mind works, and I'm excited for you to share your gifts on a bigger scale, Daniela. Jenna, now this is a true story. In the fall, Jenna submitted her application to the College of Education at the U of S on a Tuesday afternoon. And by Thursday of that same week, Jenna was accepted. I think they knew what we knew, that you're amazing and you're gonna make an awesome teacher. And I'm really trying hard to see if I can get first-year ed students on the sub-list at Prairie Spirit School Division. So wait for it. Okay, Taya. Now, another true story. On my first day at DHS, Taya came up to me and said, Sutherland, you have lipstick on your teeth. And from that moment, I knew she was someone I could trust. Seriously, true story. Taya, thank you for your amazing work and dedication to the school library. And also, no one walks as fast as you. It's a personal goal that I'm trying to achieve. Harkis. Oh, Harkis. Just when you think, as a high school teacher, that you've heard it all, Harkis steps up and ensure you realize you have not. Harkis, watching your fearless dedication on the football field was extraordinary. It was full of heart, and we truly celebrate your strengths and determination. Adam, you have been a new and very welcome addition to DHS. From your athletic gifts to artistic talent in drama class, your heartwarming friendships, you have had a positive impact and made our school a better place. Thank you, Adam. Hanson. Hanson has this brilliant skill of asking important questions. And in a conversation like with Hanson, I've often thought, yeah, why didn't I think of that? Thank you, Hanson, for your subtle wit, incredible intelligence, and keeping us on our toes. Madison. Thank you for your dedication and commitment as a student, leader, and an all-around good human. We celebrate your work ethic, positive impact, and desire to increase student engagement at DHS. Dalen, we have been so happy to have you back at DHS. I could share many details about your athletic and academic gifts, but I think Mrs. Pauls would want me to mention your impeccable fashion sense. Thank you for coming back to DHS, Dalen. We've really enjoyed having you back. Jade, another amazing, talented artist with an epic fashion sense. Jade, you are an inspiration for so many reasons, and we are so glad you came to DHS. You taught us so much. Thank you for all you have given to our school. Mateo. From smoothie making champion to impressive t-shirt collection, Mateo has an amazing sense of humor and is a joy to be around. Mateo, we will miss your interesting school activity suggestions, and we truly thank you for making a positive difference. Easton, we are always happy when hockey season is over and you return to DHS. We have appreciated the priority you place on sharing gratitude. This makes a big difference and has made our school a better place. Thank you for your leadership and inspiring work ethic. Olivia, you are just fun to be around. And I need to thank you for always catching our jokes. I feel like everyone else is kind of staring at Mrs. Norberg and I, and you right away, you catch on and you laugh and you make us feel better. We celebrate and appreciate your hard work, leadership, and dedication to the SRC and making our school an amazing place to be. Wyatt, again, we're happy when hockey season is over and you return back to DHS. Wyatt, we celebrate your amazing maturity, intense work ethic, and your solid willingness to help out and lend a hand. These qualities are outstanding. Dylan. Dylan is the most consistently kind, friendly, and easy to talk to student I have ever met. He has many talents and strengths, but you will often witness Dylan making space for others to shine. Your strengths and talents and gifts have not gone unnoticed, Dylan. Thank you for showing up with grace, acceptance, and compassion. Emma. Emma is always willing to engage in a sarcastic banter and put up with our lame jokes. We appreciate that greatly. We celebrate Emma's courage, hard work, and we will miss her greatly. Ellie. Ellie is another outstanding artist and a beautiful writer. She also makes awesome book recommendations. I can always count on Ellie to tell me the truth, and her subtle sense of humor brings great joy. Maddox. I need to thank Maddox for laughing at my jokes and showing grace when Mrs. Norberg and I are awkwardly enthusiastic. Maddox, your determination is inspiring, and we celebrate the many gifts you have shared. Emily. I can always count on Em to give me 2 thumbs up every morning. Emily has been a leader in the Cougar Cave, and we appreciate all her hard work. Thank you for making our school a great place to be. Blake. Whenever I'm having a rough day, I can count on a cheerful greeting from Blake. Blake, your willingness and confidence to share your talent is inspiring. Please remember us when you are famous. Brett. Brett, I'm so impressed with your growth and maturity. Hands down, you are a rock star with grad fundraising. Thank you for being a person we can count on. This quality will take you far. Also, Brett, thank you for being kind and full of grace when the poetry assignment I helped you with didn't get a passing mark. That was a delightful memory. Brinley, I also need to share appreciation for your kindness. Every morning I would try some kind of lame joke, and you were always good to me about it and smiled politely and respectfully. Bryn, thank you for your athletic leadership and genuinely being fun to be around. Miss Morgan, I love so many things about you, Morgan, and today we celebrate your determination and resiliency. And you also threw me off a little bit with the new hair, and I love it. I love it. I love it every time. Morgan, you have so many gifts, and I am so proud of you. Josh, near the end of ELA 30B, Mibs came to me and said, can we have an award for the student who brings the most light? Because Josh is my light. And I would echo that, Josh. We are so proud of you and grateful for how your desire to learn took you so far these last 3 years. Thank you, Josh. Bailey. We can always count on Bailey to say something that makes us raise our eyebrows. Bailey tells it like it is or how she thinks it should be. Bailey, we celebrate your strength and how you make us smile. I will always be your biggest fan. Xander, you are wise beyond your years. We appreciate your grace, patience, and kindness. Your reliability, problem-solving skills, and willingness to help have made DHS better every day. Jordy. Once Jordy sets her mind to something, she is unstoppable. Her work ethic and determination are inspiring, and we celebrate your strength and courage, Jordy. My man, Gabe. You are the definition of a good human. From secret handshakes to epic dance moves, Gabe, you never fail to make our school and the world a better place. Thank you for lifting us up every day and making every day better, Gabe. Graduates, as you move forward and into the next phase of your journey, it can be easy to get caught up in the process of achieving, accomplishing, and accumulating. Remember the things that matter the most. You are loved, you matter, and you belong. Be kind to yourself and others. Kindness is always the right choice. Congratulations, darling graduates. The thrilling news is, it gets so much better than high school. And the exciting news is, you have the tools you need to live your best life. Sadly and realistically, there will always be pain, hardships, challenge, and frustration. Every morning you wake up, you have another opportunity to choose what you do with your beautiful life and make the world a better place. So choose well and wisely, and when you don't, because you won't, all the time, forgive yourself, learn from it, and know you have the power to choose again. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for positively changing my life and being awesome humans. And never forget, the force will always be with you.
Okay, time for the presentation of the scrolls. Easton Adrian. Blake Beckstead. Taya Beckstead. Dex Bure. Daniela Delech. Xander Earl. Jade Columbus. Dylan Gerwing. Emma Hildebrand. Gabe Jabuff. Aiden Jansen. Jordy Kowalski. Hanson Mark. Bailey Myers. Ellie Neufeld. Harkus Peterson. Carol Prima. Olivia Robinson. Brinley Roth. Walker Skibinski. Morgan Taylor. Madison Trevors. Adam Termaine. Mateo Villafuerte. Maddox Waskowicz. Dalen Watson. Josh Werner. Brett Weeb. Jenna Weeb. And Wyatt Wirtz. And now to present some Good Human Awards, the good human herself who leads by example, Mrs. Sutherland.
If you didn't get the picture that you wanted there, we will happily do that. After the grad, we can do a retake of any pictures, so just don't be afraid to let me know. The Good Human Award is given to 2 grade 12 students, and selected by their peers, these students embody the characteristics of good human. From friendships to peer interactions, leadership to community involvement, these students consistently stand out. Additionally, these students show commitment to academics and positively impact the school and community. Our first recipient has been described by peers as an awesome human who is good to everyone in the school, helps with anything, and is incredibly kind. This person has a strong work ethic and isn't afraid to put themselves out there, be goofy, and have fun. I am thrilled to present this award to Jenna Weeb. Our next recipient has been described by peers as easygoing, friendly to others, and always in a good mood. An exceptional athlete, this recipient is goal-oriented and has an incredibly strong work ethic. I am thrilled to present this award to Josh Werner.
Okay, we have one more special presentation. I would like to call up Mr. Jansen and Josh Werner and Walker Skibinsky.
Hey everybody, as you know, I'm Walker. I just wanted to say that we're all gonna miss Gabe from his constant positivity and big smiles to the secret handshakes. Like I said, his positivity leaches onto you when you're around him. Every day he'd upsell me at the Cougar cart. I'd always end up buying way more than I should. So he's got a talent in that. We greatly appreciate you, Gabe. Thanks for everything. Gabe, you want to come over here? Gabe. Give me some, Gabe. Hey. Gabe, stay here. Gabe, come back.
This is my best friend, Gabe. I'm not going to be able to get through this, but I'll skip through most of the stuff I want to say. But the biggest thing I want to thank Gabe for is always staying connected to me. When I left DHS, Mrs. Norberg always made sure that we had a chance to meet through Zoom online, right, every month, Gabe? So we kept chatting over video calls, and I got to stay in touch with Gabe, and that was the biggest thing coming out of COVID, is just to maintain those connections. And I still have lots of connections with this grad class. They were grade 7s when they walked through the door. Unfortunately, I didn't get to stick around the whole way through, but I'm very honored to see them all standing up here on the stage. And the same message that I gave to the MHS crowd, you guys will all go out to do great things. And when you're doing those great things, be kind, be humble, and call your folks every once in a while. But my man Gabe, my best memory from Gabe probably was our theater concerts, right, Gabe? Yes. So I'd be up in the sound booth. Gabe would be on the stage in the DHS theater, just the two of us in there. I don't know where Mrs. Friesen was. She gave them to me for about 5 minutes, but we turned it into about half an hour most of the time. I'd crank a song, Gabe would start singing, and the first thing he would say to me is, "Jansen! Louder!" So crank it up, Gabe. Have fun, all you graduates, and thanks for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes today's ceremony. I would like everybody to please join me in celebrating our graduating class of 2023.
I need to get my story straight. My friends are.
So if I could just get everybody to remain inside the auditorium here while the grads exit.
Waiting for me just across the bar. My seat's been taken by some sunglasses, asking about a scar. I know I gave it to you months ago. I know you're trying to forget. But between the drinks and subtle things, the holes in my apologies, I'm trying hard to take it back. So if by the time the bar closes and you feel like falling down, I'll carry you home tonight. No, I know that I'm not all that you got. I guess that I just thought maybe we could find your ways to fall apart.
Thanks everyone. Let's go celebrate and stay safe. Do some Xandering in the parking lot.